Now at 4 News Now, thousands of voters in Washington say they still haven't decided who should be Washington's next governor. We take some of their questions to the candidates in our For the People election coverage.
And the weekend is here, but the sunny fall weather we saw today, not going to be sticking around. To help you plan your weekend around rain, hour by hour.
And with Halloween around the corner, thousands of kids are getting ready for a night of sweet treats, but for some, the spooky scenes can be a bit overwhelming. We'll tell you about an event that brings all of the fun without the fright. You're watching 4 News Now at 6. And we begin with some breaking news here. The Spokane community lost an icon this week as friends announced the death of pastor and community leader Happy Watkins. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Derek Dice. Spokane City Council President Betsy Wilkerson shared the news on Facebook today. Reverend Watkins served as a longtime pastor at New Hope Baptist Church, and for years he recited Dr. Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech at community celebrations. Spokane's Faves News reported Friday that Watkins was originally from the Bronx and moved to Spokane in 1961 while serving in the Air Force. Wilkerson said Watkins served the community with a heart of gold. Well, also breaking tonight, multiple homes at an apartment complex in North Spokane were damaged in a fire this afternoon. This is a live look at the scene right now. That fire is near North Regal and East Rockwell, right across the street from the New Tech Skills Center. Our Alexander Cohen-Yards is at the scene. And Alex, what have you learned since 5 o'clock?
Yeah, Derek, this fire started around 3:44 p.m. this afternoon, and it started in the kitchen of the apartment you see behind me. And as you can see, there is quite a bit of damage that has been done to that unit. Luckily, everybody got out safely and nobody was injured. People here do tell me, though, that this was quite the shocking experience for parents and kids. This was a very scary afternoon. One woman I spoke with who is a teacher at the school next door told me that she sprinted over immediately since many of her students live in this complex, and this all looked very different a couple of hours ago. There was smoke that could have been smelled from blocks away, and we spoke with one man who lives in the unit opposite to where the fire started, and he told me that he came running out when he heard a bunch of kids screaming.
Opened up the door, we saw the smoke coming out of the apartment that was over here in the corner. And just like I said, it started off gray, chaotic and everything. Was trying to tell the kids, to back away and all that.
And that courtyard was filled with smoke and many kids not sure of what to do. The Spokane Fire Department told us that roughly 12 to 15 individuals had to evacuate and that the unit had 4 people living in it. They also told us that this fire spread in what could have been as little as 3 minutes throughout that whole unit and into the unit next to it. But it is thanks to the hard work of the firefighters that were working this afternoon that it was able to stay contained to just those 2 units. And although this fire is still under investigation, as of right now, they say that it was most likely an accident while someone was cooking. Reporting live in Spokane, Alexander Cohen-Yards, 4 News Now.
All right. Alexander, thanks so much. We are less than 2 weeks away from the general election. A recent poll done by the Seattle Times, King 5, and the University of Washington revealed 16% of voters are still undecided in the state's gubernatorial race between former Congressman Dave Reichert and Attorney General Bob Ferguson. Marissa Rio is in studio tonight and has been gathering questions from some of these undecided voters all week, Marissa.
We asked undecided voters in Washington's gubernatorial race to send us questions that they had for both candidates. These here are the questions that we received both on social media and by email. I asked both candidates all of these questions. Some of these questions we've already reported in previous stories, but one question that was sent to us that we haven't yet covered: how will you increase the affordable health care crisis? Here is how each candidate responded.
We need to create more private-public partnerships within the healthcare system. And then thirdly, I think that the technology we have today allows us to have a more robust telemed system, and I think we need to invest some money in the telemed system.
Also work to address the shortages in medical professionals by giving middle schoolers the option to learn about the industry. Bob Ferguson's answer: we need to preserve the Affordable Health Care Act.
In my view, is a true crisis in our state.
You can
change I'm making at the cabinet level for me as governor is the head of
back to you, Derek, at the desk.
So that
all right. Thank you very much there, Marissa. And on Monday, the Spokane City Council will consider a measure to oppose Initiative 2117. That's the measure on your ballot that would repeal Washington's Climate Commitment Act. The act passed in 2021. Its mission was to cap and reduce greenhouse gas emissions from the industries and sources that use it the most, like oil companies. Critics of the act say it's created a hidden gas and energy tax, driving up the cost of living. The state says actions put in place by the Climate Commitment Act have generated more than $2 billion so far and are expected to raise $3.2 billion next year. To see the exact resolution the council will consider, you should head to KXLY.com. All right, we're going to take a break right now and be back. We'll talk about the weather with Matt Gray coming up.
Connect with 4 News Now on KXLY+.
Save Ukraine!
Why is liberal Carmilla Conroy mudslinging and stretching the truth? Maybe it's to hide her extreme plans for an open border, drugs pouring into the country, and higher taxes. Conroy doesn't fit our district. Michael Baumgartner will protect our families, Social Security and Medicare, ensure veterans get the benefits they've earned, fight inflation, and make our neighborhoods safe by securing the southern border.
I'm Michael Baumgartner, and I approve this message.
Are you ready to stay for less and play for more? The Kootenai Casino has low room rates and our most exciting gaming yet. Book now to get your deluxe room at the Kootenai Falls Lodge for just $99 every midweek night in October. And join us for October Hot Spins, Weekend Super Spins, and catch the game Monday nights. Win big in October. Book your getaway at the Kootenai Casino today. Call 888-YOU-ARE-LUCKY or visit KootenaiRiverInn.com.
Out here, we have an independent streak. We want the government to stay out of our business. That's what freedom is. A woman's private medical decisions should be between her and her doctor. Michael Baumgartner has a long record of opposing abortion in almost all cases, even when a woman is raped. He'd let states restrict access to birth control and fertility treatments. I'm Carmilla Conroy. I approve this message because our freedoms are at stake.
Jared Sessler is Mr. 30%. Sessler wants a 30% national sales tax on everything. New house? Under Sessler's plan, you pay 30% more. New car? 30% more. Bacon, eggs, milk? 30%. Healthcare, gas, electric, cell phone bills? You pay 30% more. Jared Sessler, Mr. 30%. Is there anything he won't tax? National Interest Action is responsible for the content of this advertising.
As a U.S. Navy veteran, I fought for our freedom and our right to vote. But today, independent voters can't vote in the elections I fought to protect. Over 275,000 Idahoans, including thousands of veterans, are blocked from voting in our primary elections, all because they were closed by party insiders and special interests. Proposition 1 respects veterans like me by opening Idaho's primaries, ensuring every Idaho taxpayer has the right to vote. That's what I fought for, and that's how it ought to be.
Well, Halloween is different for every kid, from the costumes they wear to the candy they like. And for kids who may have sensory issues, it can be overwhelming. And that's where a local organization called the Isaac Foundation comes in. Mary Sheridan shows us the unique Halloween event.
For weeks, Holly Goodman has been planning, cutting, and hanging decorations for the Isaac Foundation's annual Trunk or Treat event. It's a chance for those on the autism spectrum or with developmental disabilities to enjoy the holiday without any jump scares.
It's hard to know what to expect and how to expect it on Halloween, going door to door in a neighborhood. So this is kind of a practice round of trick-or-treating where they can come through, experience it without any fear of jump scares or spooky music or flashing lights that might startle them.
On Saturday, kids will have the chance to trick-or-treat in waves with different levels of action to keep them comfortable. Each door has a different theme.
I think Harry Potter is one of my most favorite ones. I think it turned out so cute.
Events like these take a lot of prep work. Goodman says the Isaac Foundation is always looking for volunteers to help with a wide range of responsibilities, from working with kids to cutting out paper for decorations. Gonzaga junior Carolyn Gisletta began volunteering here last Halloween and has stuck around ever since.
I never would have thought that something like this could have such a big impact on these kids.
But Goodman says it's the little things that help make our community more inclusive.
The world is an unpredictable place, but we do have ways that we can help kids with transitions and knowing what to expect by just using our words and even pictures so that they can see what to expect and how to expect it.
And again, this event is taking place on Saturday, October 26th from 2 to 4 p.m. before it gets dark. Goodman says the Isaac Foundation would like you to register online so they know how many people to expect. We'll have that link at KXLY.com. Reporting in Spokane, Mary Sheridan, 4 News Now.
Well, if you're looking for some last-minute spooky plans, we've got you covered. Take your phone out right now and you can scan this QR code using your camera. It'll take you to our website where you can see all of the fun Halloween events happening around the area. And if you miss getting this code, you can find that list on KXLY.com. All right, Matt Gray joining us now. And Matt, we've had a nice stretch of fall weather, okay? But we're getting a little dose of reality here. Kind of starting tomorrow night, it sounds like?
Reality is going to bite us. And yeah, that comes starting tomorrow night. So if you have some Halloween events, I know a lot of people using the weekend to have some Halloween fun. Boy, if you're doing it tomorrow, you picked about the best time possible here with how things are going to go. Here's your weekend forecast. Yeah, Saturday, not looking bad at all. Dry conditions for the vast majority of the day. Very comfortable temperatures as well in the 60s and a little bit more sunshine. Now, as we head into Sunday, things start to change a little bit. Expecting us to wake up to some pretty wet weather to start the day. And even though things will dry out a little bit later on Sunday, it is still going to be more often than not cloudier, and we'll continue to see scattered showers. It's all part of a big change in our weather. Like we were talking about with Derek, we've had long stretches so far this fall of beautiful weather. An occasional storm has rolled in, and it hasn't stuck around for very long. Well, this is going to be quite the change. This is over the next week. We have that storm that comes in and then another one coming in for the middle of the week. So we're going to end up with not only lots of wet weather compared to what we've seen recently, but lots of much cooler weather as well. So if you haven't turned on the heat in the house just yet, this is probably the week where you're going to start turning those things on for the first time as much cooler air sticks across our area. And it also means some mountain snow is something we're going to be talking about too over the next 7 days. Now, if you do have plans Saturday night, here's how the rain chances break down. Things should be pretty quiet until after midnight, and then by the time we're waking up on Sunday morning, we have those rain chances up around 90%. So yes, it is going to be a bit of a soggy start to the back half of your weekend. We'll take the timing out hour by hour for before and after this sequence coming up.
Live stream KXLY Plus on the 4 News Now app.
4 News Now is brought to you by Mainstream Electric Heating, Cooling, Plumbing.
I spent my career in law enforcement, the last years as police chief. When it comes to keeping Washington safe, I trust Bob Ferguson.
Bob's top priority is public safety. His plan to hire more police officers is exactly what we need.
He'll create a statewide response unit to tackle the fentanyl crisis.
And he'll put the $1 billion he won from drug companies into treatment.
To help us protect Washington,
I trust Bob Ferguson.
Bob Ferguson for governor.
Deer Unleashed. No one knows the feeling of freedom quite the way you do. But damned if we don't come really, really close. Let's break the chain. Yours, Tundra.
Right now, you can lease a new 2024 Tundra for just $469 per month. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
Walker's Furniture is kicking off their veterans sale early with big double sales tax discounts or no money down, no minimum purchase, no interest financing for up to 5 years.
Making it the perfect time to improve your home for the holidays at Walker's.
This is Initiative 2117. Look closely. Does it mention anything about lowering prices? No. In fact, does it say anything that will help you? No again. The mega millionaires behind it are intentionally trying to confuse you. They don't want you to know 2117 would cut billions from transportation, meaning more traffic and harming our economy. Don't be fooled. Vote no on 2117. There's nothing in it for you.
This Halloween, your child's costume could be more trick than treat.
Halloween night is a perfect storm of risk.
The safety scares lurking in the shadows and what you need to know to keep your little monsters safe. Monday on Good Morning Northwest.
This election season cut through the chaos with 4 News Now coverage for the people. The local races and issues that impact you and your family. No agenda, just information. Helping you make an informed decision on 4 News Now.
All right, as we were saying a few minutes ago, we are less than 2 weeks away from the general election. And a recent poll done by the Seattle Times, King 5 and UW revealed 16% of voters are still undecided in the governor's race between former Congressman Dave Reichert and Attorney General Bob Ferguson. Let's send it over to Marissa Rio again now, who's been gathering questions from some of these undecided voters all week.
Yeah, we asked undecided voters in Washington's gubernatorial race to send us questions that they had for both candidates. These here are the questions that we received both on social media and by email. I asked both candidates all of these questions. Some of these we've reported on in previous stories, but one question that was sent to us that we haven't yet covered: how will you increase access to affordable health care? Here's how each candidate responded.
We need to create more private-public partnerships within the healthcare system. And then thirdly, I think that the technology we have today allows us to have a more robust telemed system. And I think we need to invest some money in the telemed system.
Reichert says he would also work to address the shortage in medical professionals by giving middle schoolers the option to learn about the industry. Bob Ferguson's answer: we need to preserve the Affordable Care Act.
And we need to make sure that we're preserving access to health care all across our state. Something I heard in going to all 39 counties as part of this campaign was individuals, especially in more rural communities, not having access to health care. And that's something that as a state we need to make sure we're looking at and we're investing in and preserving.
We also asked the candidates how they feel about election integrity, a concern for many across the nation, especially here in Washington, where we vote by mail.
Study after study shows Washington State's election system is strong. So, those are the experts who review it. We do hand recounts. We just had that in our lands commissioner race in the primary. There was a hand recount that came out, I think almost literally, to the vote to what the count had been.
During the primaries and the race for Commissioner of Public Lands differed by 10 votes when looking at the original machine count. That was out of over 790,000 votes total. Reichert feels we have one of the best systems in the world when it comes to election integrity, though he says more can always be done to ensure accuracy.
I think there needs to be an audit on the system after each election to see whether or not there have been mistakes, if there are glitches in the system.
Reichert says there can also be better efforts to make sure we aren't sending ballots to deceased people, although that is a rare occurrence according to the Associated Press. It's also important to note that in Washington, each county does conduct a post-election audit after every election. You can look at our previous coverage on both of these candidates on our website at KXLY.com. In studio, Marissa Rio, 4 News Now.
The consequences of him ever being president again are brutally serious.
If Kamala gets 4 more years, she will obliterate our economy.
With messages like those feeding the notion that this year's 2024 presidential election is the most consequential in American history, it can be easy to feel stressed out, according to experts. So what can you do to cope? Mental health experts suggest limiting time exposed to stressful content like doom scrolling on social media, and do things that are good for your mind, body, and spirit.
Engaging in activities that are pleasurable, making sure that the discussions that we have with friends or family members are not necessarily around the topics that are currently stressful.
And if you find yourself
frustrated by a friend, family member, or a coworker with different political views, experts say it's important to remember people are more than just their political beliefs. Well, still ahead, the city wants to add more than 24 miles of bike lanes, why some cyclists say this urban mobility plan is necessary. Plus, tomorrow is National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day. Coming up, the medications experts say you should never leave around the house. Next on 4 News Now.
Live stream KXLY Plus on the 4 News Now app.
Maria Cantwell knows prices are too high and we have to fight back. That's why she passed a law to take on big oil traders spiking gas prices, and why she's fighting grocery store mergers that would lead to higher food prices. Cantwell also took on drug companies and won, capping insulin for seniors at $35 a month and capping seniors' out-of-pocket expenses.
I'm Maria Cantwell, and I approve this message because I'll take on anyone to protect Northwest consumers.
Elegance, style, quality, custom made for your project. Agalite shower doors and bath enclosures by River City Glass are designed for a lifetime of use. Timeless beauty that speaks for itself with superior quality and exceptional value. Offering exquisite custom wine room enclosures and office room glass, specializing in custom mirrors crafted to fit your space. Producing high-performance glass for every project, residential and commercial. River City Glass.
We have an important choice to make for Lands Commissioner. King County Councilman Dave Upthegrove presided over 30 million gallons of raw sewage dumped into the Sound. Year after year, beaches closed, shellfish poisoned, a tribal lawsuit threatened, costing taxpayers millions. There's a better choice. Jamie Herrera Butler is a bipartisan leader who protected endangered salmon and is fighting for sustainable timber harvests to prevent wildfires. Vote Jamie Herrera Butler. She'll protect our environment and our tax dollars.
It's time for Northern Quest $150,000
Ultimate Game Night Giveaway
with a brand new Yukon Denali up for grabs. So come on down and play daily to winner. Grand prize drawing November 30th.
So I just heard about Northern Quest's $25,000 Spooky Cash Smash giveaway. Sure, there's nothing spooky about big cash prizes, but winning 10 grand, that would definitely give me goosebumps. You know, if I had skin or whatever. Details at northernquest.com.
I'm Carmela Conroy, and my story starts here. Grandpa was a union mason on the Grand Coulee Dam. Dad worked on the Great Northern Railway. We were raised to look out for our neighbors. That's why, as a Spokane County deputy prosecutor, I held violent offenders accountable. As a Foreign Service officer, I worked in conflict zones. We need leaders in Congress who will stand up for veterans and military families. I'm Carmela Conroy, and I approve this message.
4 News Now is brought to you by the Cal Superstore in Airway Heights.
All right, welcome back. A lot of people heading out to high school football games tonight. I know for me, I really had to prepare and think about it for the first time all year with like gloves and hats and all this stuff.
It's getting chilly, and this is just the beginning here of kind of our transition from nice early fall to
for real
whatever
fall.
Late fall is. Whatever you want to call it, I'll leave that up to people's opinions, but it's definitely different. That's for sure. And it begins tonight as a weather system moves in, and we are going to see increased clouds as the night goes on. And yes, eventually very late tonight, we even do have a little bit of a chance for some rain. Now, I haven't talked about this much so far in this program because it's going to be in and out of here very early in the morning. You can see this is about 1 a.m., a chance for some rain across eastern Washington, and then some sprinkles and light showers in North Idaho, especially in the Panhandle. By 7 in the morning, though, it's gone. And so we are left with a pretty nice looking Saturday, some light rain off and on in the Cascades. This is about 8 o'clock Saturday night, and that's when the next round of rain will start to cross the mountains. By the time we get into midnight, we're going to see a band of rain tracking across central and eastern Washington, and boy, it's going to end up as we're waking up early on Sunday morning with quite a bit of wet weather around our region. So this will be the rainiest part of the day during the early morning on Sunday. By lunchtime, it has already moved on, so we'll see another break in the weather around midday on Sunday. But with sunshine and a much more unstable atmosphere here comes the possibility of pop-up showers as we head later and later into the afternoon. And you can see here our forecast radar by the time we head towards sunset or slightly after, more showers developing, tracking across the inland northwest. And Monday is going to be a large amount of the same, where we're going to have a showery couple of days, a lot different from the rain for a few minutes and then it's out of here type of storms that we've seen so far most of the time this fall. So as we go through the weekend, chance for about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch across many parts of North Idaho and in some of our northern counties. Spokane, once again, always seems to be on the outside looking in of some of the heavier rainfall totals, but still should be a decent amount of wet weather here by the time we get to Monday, and then more to come for the work week. Temperatures will gradually decrease as this system moves in and the cool air keeps getting reinforced. We'll be below average by the time we get to Monday, and we are going to stay there for the entirety of the work week and likely into next weekend. So enjoy tomorrow with temperatures in the 60s. Could be the last time we see that for a while. We'll also, starting on Monday, are going to be looking at the possibility of snowfall on our mountain passes. Should not be much of an impact just yet, but as we head later and later into the week, especially with another system coming in kind of in that Wednesday, Thursday timeframe, we could start to be seeing winter weather alerts for those mountain pass locations, and more cool air comes up as we head into November as well. So we are into a late fall pattern here as we start the month of November and end the month of October. So yeah, definitely going to have the extra layers out by the time we get to a week from now.
Can't believe we're already talking about snow levels, Matt. Well, too often you hear about individual police officers when something goes wrong, but a Spokane police officer is being recognized for doing things right, recognized as a community hero for his work in some of the toughest cases. Spokane Police Sergeant Richie Plunkett worked with the behavioral unit for 3 years, but he hopes his impact will last much longer. Derek Strom spoke with Sergeant Plunkett and some of the people he's impacted along the way.
I don't expect any type of award or anything like that. I just do my job.
Sergeant Richie Plunkett is humble about the work he's done with people in crisis. He started working with Spokane Police's behavioral health unit because of his background as a social worker and counselor.
This gave me an opportunity to make sure I was applying those skills on every call I went to. So it's something I was very much interested in, and it showed that police officers, we have a different set of skills, and we can do these things to make sure people are getting taken care of in the appropriate way.
For Sergeant Plunkett, that happened in many forms, including helping people get treatment at the Spokane Regional Stabilization Center, and it didn't take long for the employees there to notice.
On a normal day, it wasn't uncommon that Officer Plunkett would stop in and be like, "Hey, how's so-and-so? Or can you tell so-and-so I'm here? I got some cigarettes for him." Or some self-help books or crossword puzzles.
Employees here at the Spokane Regional Stabilization Center say Sergeant Plunkett is always going above and beyond in his job. And being able to help one of the employees here was part of why Sergeant Plunkett got nominated for the Community Impact Award. Alyssa Eklund says one of her loved ones was having a mental health crisis, and at first she did not want law enforcement involved, but she says Officer Plunkett showed up and changed her perspective.
Knowing that we have someone out there on the front lines that cares, that truly cares about people in crisis, at people's mental health, and responding in a way that is helpful, not harmful, it gives me a sense of trust.
This month, Plunkett was honored for that work by the Light a Lamp Foundation. He was recently promoted to sergeant and will be transitioning out of the behavioral health team, but he's training other officers to join the team and continue what he started.
I did tell Officer Plunkett at the Impact Award that we were going to miss him.
In Spokane, Derek Strom, 4 News Now.
Sounds like he's very deserving of that award. Well, Washington State is gearing up for another game on the road. Why Coach Jake Dickert says Saturday's matchup against San Diego State is a unique one. Plus, a push to make Spokane more bike-friendly, where the city is considering adding 27 miles of bike path. Next on 4 News Now at 6:30.
Live stream KXLY Plus on the 4 News Now app.
Are you ready to stay for less and play for more? The Kootenai Casino has low room rates and our most exciting gaming yet. Book now to get your deluxe room at the Kootenai Falls Lodge for just $99 every midweek night in October. And join us for October Hot Spins, Weekend Super Spins, and catch the game Monday nights. Win big in October. Book your getaway at the Kootenai Casino today. Call 888-YOU-ARE-LUCKY or visit KootenaiRiverInn.com.
4 News Now and STCU are proud to continue highlighting volunteers who go above and beyond with their efforts. STCU Volunteers Count is a project that awards groups and individuals who take volunteering to the next level, donating personal time and financial support to local nonprofits. The winning volunteers will be awarded a grant courtesy of STCU to help further their efforts, and then we'll tell their story. If you know of a local volunteer who deserves recognition, nominate them at KXLY.com.
Initiative 2124. It's purposely misleading. So here's what you need to know. Independent analysts say if I-2124 passes, it will bankrupt our affordable long-term care benefit, leaving millions of Washingtonians with no options but private insurance that charges way too much and routinely denies coverage to millions with pre-existing conditions. Don't let it happen. Protect your long-term care benefits. Vote no on I-2124.
It's time for 4 News Now, Coats for Kids. Drop off new or gently used coats at any of our sponsored locations. We'll bring them to Alsco for professional cleaning, then get them out to local children in need. Donate Coats for Kids through October 31st.
STCU is kicking off Coats for Kids with a fun competition. Ready, set, go! We'll donate as many coats as our brave volunteers can layer in 1 minute. Donate your coats at any STCU branch through the month of October.
Live from downtown Spokane, this is 4 News Now at 6:30.
Welcome back. The city of Spokane may become more bike-friendly. A new proposal would add 27 miles of bike paths to the city by 2027 and help connect already established bike paths like the Centennial Trail to other parts of the city. This plan puts bike paths as far north as the Northwest neighborhood, all the way south to the Comstock neighborhood. Madeline Mullins is live. And Madeline, why do bikers in Spokane want this plan in place?
Yeah, bicyclists want this plan in place because they want it to be easier to get to trails like this. This is the Post Street Bridge behind me. It's part of the Centennial Trail. And you can see it's very clearly marked. You can see the crosswalks, see the bike paths. Makes it very easy for bikers to ride on. But as soon as you leave this trail, it gets a little bit more complicated to get around.
But the problem with all of these trails is they're disconnected from each other. So you don't really have any sort of network.
Eric Lowe is the founder of Spokane Reimagined and an activist for bicycle safety.
I got into activism because of taking my child on bike rides and seeing how dangerous the roads around my house were.
This 27 by 2027 plan hopes to make the city feel safer for those walking and riding bikes.
Connectivity is the key to success for ensuring that people feel comfortable and getting new riders out onto the street.
The plan would use already established infrastructure like crosswalks and stoplights, as well as creating curbs or adding flex posts to create clear paths through residential areas and busy streets so that bikers can get from point A to point B.
But we want to do it in as efficiently as we can. So again, leveraging those existing projects where possible, or finding lower cost methods to deliver the same level of comfort.
Spencer Gardner, the Director of Planning Services for Spokane, says connectivity is the most important part when it comes to this urban mobility network.
It's not just a short stretch of bike lane near my house, but I can actually ride that to other neighborhoods to get to my destination.
Now, the City Council is still considering this plan, and the Planning Commission is waiting for a vote to know if they should move forward with this or not. Gardner says that he will be looking for feedback from the community on this plan. Live in Spokane, I'm Madeline Mullins, 4 News Now.
All right, Madeline, thank you so much. Matt Gray is back here with us again, and yeah, we've been talking about this rain that's heading our way. There's no way to avoid it.
No way to avoid it, and no way to avoid the temperatures dropping or the sun setting earlier, or, oh goodness. I love this time of the year personally, but yeah, the sunsets kind of, they bring it down a little bit, quite literally. Sunset was, well, over 30 minutes ago now, 49 degrees. If you're headed out for some high school football, temperatures will stay there in the 40s with a little bit of cloud cover overhead. Yeah, definitely one of the chillier nights we've had so far this season. Overall, we will see likely some chillier conditions heading into next week with how things are going. Your planner for Saturday actually looking pretty good. So we're avoiding wet weather for Saturday if you're just joining us. A little bit of cloud cover, some sprinkles in the very early hours of the morning, but daytime temperatures in the 60s, a little sunshine, especially during the afternoon. Really looks like a beautiful day, and perhaps the last kind of clean sweep here on the hourly forecast we're going to see for a little while. And no wonder, right? Because as we head into Sunday, our rain chances really spike up. Monday's there as well. Really, our next day that we could consider a dry day, not going to be until Tuesday, and another storm is coming in right behind that. So there's going to be a lot going on in the forecast, both in the near and long term. I'll take you through it coming up here in just a few minutes.
All right, Matt, thank you. Attorneys for the man accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students in 2022 want the possibility of the death penalty taken off the table, saying the state has no viable methods for killing him. Bryan Kohberger is scheduled to stand trial next summer for the murders of Kaylee Goncalves, Madison Mogen, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. According to a motion filed in court this week, Kohberger's lawyers say the death penalty is unconstitutional, citing what they call the state's ambiguous methods. Last year, Governor Brad Little signed a bill into law allowing executions by firing squad if a lethal injection is not an option. A decision on whether to keep the death penalty as a possible sentence if Kohberger is convicted will rest with a judge in Ada County. You'll hear the death penalty motions on November 7th. For the latest on this story, you can go to our website at KXLY.com. Well, one Washington resident is already involved in a fast-moving outbreak of E. coli that could be linked to onions from McDonald's and other national fast food chains. The Washington State Department of Health says the Washington resident linked to this outbreak was likely exposed to E. coli at a McDonald's in Colorado. A McDonald's onion supplier, Taylor Farms, has already recalled their onions. Taco Bell, Burger King, KFC, and Pizza Hut have also pulled fresh onions from their menus.
All the reported cases appear to be linked to McDonald's, but the recall of the onions are onions that not just went to McDonald's, but went to other fast food outlets.
Bill Marler says if you've eaten at McDonald's in the last week and you're seeing symptoms of E. coli, you should get medical attention immediately. Those symptoms could include stomach cramps, a high-grade fever, or signs of dehydration. And it's time to clean out your medicine cabinets. Tomorrow is National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day. The DEA says way too often unused medications find their way into the wrong hands, some of which can be dangerous and even deadly. CNN's Mandy Gaither explains which 5 medications doctors say you should never leave lying around the house.
Whether it's unused or expired, disposing of prescription medications properly can reduce risk of accidental use or intentional misuse.
When we think about drugs that we want to get out of our medicine cabinets, the reality is that the answer should probably be most drugs that have outlived their original indication.
Dr. Holly Geyer with Mayo Clinic says it can be dangerous for medications to be used differently from how they were prescribed.
It is best to get these drugs out of the house unless you have specific reasons by your provider to keep them in the house when you're done with them.
But Geyer says there are 5 groups of prescription medications you should never leave unused in your home. Opioids top the list. Last year, this drug was linked to more than 81,000 overdose deaths in the U.S., according to CDC provisional data. Next, Geyer says certain anti-anxiety medications.
These are ones like lorazepam or alprazolam. As drug class, they can be toxic, especially when combined with other drugs that can be sedating.
Third, certain sleeping medications should be discarded or locked up when they're no longer needed. Fourth, muscle relaxers. If used with other substances, these can increase overdose risk. Finally, Geyer says unused cough medications should also be discarded.
We recognize something called robotripping in that teenage population if there's dextromethorphan in the drug. So cough medicines can be toxic even if you purchase them over the counter. Get them out if you no longer need them.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
And to find prescription drug drop-off sites nearest to you, look for this story on KXLY.com. Now, as the high school football season is winding down, a couple of our local teams are turning up the heat.
A couple of those local teams, Gonzaga Prep and Meade, they're putting everything out on the field tonight. The Bullpups and the Panthers are going head-to-head in this week's Game of the Week. I'll tell you why. It's each team's biggest game so far. That's after the break.
Live stream KXLY Plus on the 4 News Now app.
4 News Now is brought to you by STCU, here for good.
When you say let's go to breakfast, you mean let's go to McDonald's. Obviously.
Have a mix and match morning with any 2 breakfast classics. When you buy one, get one for just $1.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
This is Initiative 2117. Look closely. Does it mention anything about lowering prices? No. In fact, does it say anything that will help you? No again. The mega millionaires behind it are intentionally trying to confuse you. They don't want you to know 2117 would cut billions from transportation, meaning more traffic and harming our economy. Don't be fooled. Vote no on 2117. There's nothing in it for you.
There are trucks, and then there's the GMC Sierra, available with the connected driving experience and the world's first 6-function multi-pro tailgate. GMC Sierra. It's the truck. Get 0% APR on select 2024 Sierra 1500 models. That's over $6,400 total value. Plus, no monthly payments until next year.
Shop DaveSmith.com.
Out here, we have an independent streak. We want the government to stay out of our business. That's what freedom is. A woman's private medical decisions should be between her and her doctor. Michael Baumgartner has a long record of opposing abortion in almost all cases, even when a woman is raped. He'd let states restrict access to birth control and fertility treatments. I'm Carmela Conroy. I approve this message because our freedoms are at stake.
Say less, get more. Buy one, get one for $1. Choose from Bacon McDouble, McChicken, McDouble, or Hot and Spicy McChicken. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Next ET, Carol Burnett's new honor.
What would you say is your greatest life achievement? Living this long.
Plus, on-set exclusives and the scariest house in America. Next ET.
Watch 4 News Now at 6 and Entertainment Tonight at 7:30.
One great idea can change your life.
That's the American dream right there.
I want to be on a team with you.
Shark Tank, new tonight on ABC and stream on Hulu.
The Gonzaga Prep Bullpups and the Meade Panthers are facing off for not only this week's Game of the Week, but for a matchup that has quickly become the most anticipated regular season game so far. Both teams have managed to win every single game up to this point, but one of them will have to sacrifice their perfect record by the end of the night. Last week, G-Prep snuck by Central Valley because of a blocked field goal in the final seconds. The Bullpups won by just 2 points. Meade, on the other hand, they haven't really had any close calls. The Panthers' smallest margin of victory was still 2 touchdowns more than their opponent, which means they've beat every team this season by at least 14 points. That's a good spot to be in going into tonight. And both teams have a top-tier offense and rely heavily on their run game. So we're pretty much guaranteed a great game tonight over at Union Stadium. Kickoff is at 8 o'clock. And of course, we'll have the highlights and the top plays from that game, along with several others around the Inland Northwest on Friday Night Sports Extra tonight, starting at 11. Eastern Washington and Idaho are set to face off tomorrow in their rivalry game. Idaho has played a tough stretch of games along with cycling through injuries on both sides of the ball. But that doesn't mean the Eagles head coach Aaron Best is letting his team take this game lightly.
Sound defensively, they're sound on offense, they're sound on special teams. There's not really a
a disadvantage that they have within themselves. Maybe you could argue the bodies that they have to suit up, but everybody this time's got people down. Just unfortunately at their position of quarterback, which is pretty important in this game, that they've had a few more obstacles than most.
Even though Eastern Washington only has 2 wins this season, they've dropped a couple close games that could have gone either way. Idaho head coach Jason Eck says the Eagles are a classic example of a team that is better than their record shows. The Vandals are going into their bye week next week, and that's something Coach Eck is looking forward to and wants his team to use as motivation to lay it all out on the field. And speaking of bye weeks, San Diego State is coming off of their bye week and has plenty of time to study up on the Cougars. While the Cougs and Aztecs aren't super familiar with each other, in 2026, they'll become conference opponents, which is why it's important for WSU to make a statement on the road this weekend.
They've been studying our tape for 2 weeks, and, you know, we got to make sure that we're staying ahead of the game a little bit. Obviously, they'll come in really fresh, and we have to travel to them. I mean, very unique situation. So we got to be ready to go. Sometimes bye week, you can come out a little sluggish, you know, so we'll see how it goes. I think we're in rhythm now back after our bye week of staying on course. So excited to get down there, and it's going to be a challenge.
Washington State hasn't won a game in Southern California since 2013. That's including 3 bowl games as well. The Cougs are looking to change that tomorrow. Kickoff is 7:30 in San Diego.
I had to remember what I was doing in 2013 for a second. Goodness. All right, some wet weather coming in very late tonight, and there is going to be a whole lot more in your extended forecast. If you haven't brought out the bigger sweaters and the rain jackets yet this fall, you're going to need them this week. That's coming up.
Live stream KXLY Plus on the 4 News Now app.
Finding the right home products and services in our area can be a challenge, but at Residential Home Solutions, we make it easy. We provide quality window, door, and siding services tailored to meet your needs. As a hometown small business, we take pride in offering high-quality, locally made products, professional insight, and outstanding customer service. Let us help you find the perfect home solutions for your replacement windows, siding, and doors. Contact us today for a replacement quote for your Spokane and Coeur d'Alene area home. Visit residentialhs.com.
Why is liberal Carmilla Conroy mudslinging and stretching the truth? Maybe it's to hide her extreme plans for an open border, drugs pouring into the country, and higher taxes. Conroy doesn't fit our district. Michael Baumgartner will protect our families, Social Security and Medicare, ensure veterans get the benefits they've earned, fight inflation, and make our neighborhoods safe by securing the southern border.
I'm Michael Baumgartner, and I approve this message.
This is a story of first downs and second chances.
I wanted to keep playing, but my feet hurt.
You'd think all those big league experts could have helped.
You have access to anything, but none of it worked.
His football career ended, but his plantar fasciitis pain didn't. Till he found the Good Feet store.
I got fitted for my arch supports. Let me tell you something. They work.
Now, he recommends Good Feet to
anybody. If you move, go to the Good Feet store.
So get moving. Come in for your free fitting.
As a U.S. Navy veteran, I fought for our freedom and our right to vote. But today, independent voters can't vote in the elections I fought to protect. Over 275,000 Idahoans, including thousands of veterans, are blocked from voting in our primary elections, all because they were closed by party insiders and special interests. Proposition 1 respects veterans like me by opening Idaho's primaries, ensuring every Idaho taxpayer has the right to vote. That's what I fought for, and that's how it ought to be.
What's all this?
You said it was a recovery day. I got my yoga mat, foam roller, electrolytes, and protein bars. The whole setup.
Refrigerant recovery, Ben. We're recovering the refrigerant to fix the heat pump.
Oh, right. I knew that. Want a protein bar?
Get a free heat pump with every furnace purchase at Bill's Heating and AC while supplies last. Call now.
Electrolyte?
Ben, take the robe off.
4 News Now is brought to you by Findlay Downtown Toyota.
All right, welcome back. You know, Facebook memories kind of remind us sometimes it could always be worse. And mine today told me that it snowed in Spokane on this day last year.
It did. It did. Our friends at the Weather Service reminded me of that today. One of the few times that we saw some notable snowfall. After all, it wasn't a super snowy year last year. Yeah. well, yeah, it could always be worse. So, you know what? I'm perfectly fine just talking about, hey, there might be some snow on the passes here by the time we get to the start of the week as cooler, much cooler air enters the inland Northwest. Snow levels right now about 8,500 feet. That's above most of the high mountain peaks here in our region. Well, that's not going to be the case as the wet weather moves in on Sunday, and then as that cooler air settles in, we'll actually get down to some of our higher passes and kind of stay there for the rest of the week. So what are those signs of change that's coming along here as we move from early fall to late fall? And it looks like this week is going to be that transition, but everything's staying away from the valleys, at least for the time being. Those freezing temperatures and the chance for snowfall. So here over the next 72 hours, this is as we're getting up on Tuesday morning. This is what snowfall looks like. No surprise. Snowy weather in the North Cascades, enough to where we may be looking at some snow and some impact there on Stevens Pass. Looks like Snoqualmie is going to be all right, though, down at 3,000 feet. Another place to watch is going to be Lookout Pass, especially because we're going to see wet weather continuing there in the Bitterroot Mountains for a longer period of time, both on Monday and as well on Tuesday, while many other parts of the inland Northwest stay dry. So this is going to be a spot to monitor. Some snow up in the Selkirks as well. So a lot of our ski areas are going to start to be getting that first building block of the base for this year. So some fun stuff going on up in the high country. As for everyone else, here is how things are going to go for the weekend. If you're making plans, early Saturday morning, we see a couple of sprinkles, but Saturday looks good to go as the wet weather stays up in the Cascades. Now, by Sunday morning, this is very early in the morning that we're going to see the bulk of the wet weather. Once again, good timing for us. However, it's definitely going to be a little soggy as you get your day started. And we're going to see scattered showers pop up again in the afternoon and the evening, even though the main body of the rain will have moved on by lunchtime, if not even a little bit earlier where you live. But Monday is going to be wet as well. Lots of moisture, lots going on the other side of the state as the sun sets on Sunday. And all that is going to continue its eastward journey as we head into Monday. So Monday, about 70% chance of rain around here. Definitely not as much as Sunday, but still pretty good chance. Tuesday really is the only day that looks like our dry day coming up in the near future as things jump back up again as we head into Wednesday. So, friends, enjoy these temperatures tomorrow where we're in the 70s in the LC Valley and the 60s in many parts of our region and upper 50s for our northern friends, because we're not seeing those anytime soon. Look how big of a change here, about almost a 20-degree change in our highs from Saturday to next Friday. And for now, it looks like this busy weather pattern and this cool weather pattern is going to continue on into next weekend as well.
All right, Matt, thank you. The highly anticipated Mount Spokane Ski Swap is back this weekend. You can make sure your family is ready to hit the slopes with skis, snowboards, clothes, and more, all for discounted prices. And all the sales go toward the Ski Patrol equipment to keep you and your family safe up on Mount Spokane. While you're there, you'll get help from the Mount Spokane Ski Patrollers, which are made up of 200 volunteers. The Ski Swap is this Saturday and Sunday at the Spokane County Fair and Expo Center starting at 9 a.m. Well, to help you get excited for the start of ski and snowboard season, we're giving you a bird's eye view of two of the most popular slopes in North Idaho. Let's go for a ride on the Air 4 drone over Silver Mountain and Schweitzer.
Today we are doing a couple of jumps with KXLY here at Schweitzer Mountain. You're seeing some different 5s and 7s, switch and regular for people. I know that our snowpack is good and we should be looking forward to a really good spring skiing this year. So Schweitzer has been incredible. In North America, we have some of the best snow as of right now and probably one of the best parks. The terrain here is pretty phenomenal. You have everything from good steeps to fun cliffs everywhere to really good beginner and medium level terrain and tons of it.
It is really a treat to ride the terrain that we have from the train park all the way to the trees, to the cliffs, to Little Blue and the T-Bar. It's all incredible.
Silver Mountain's a four-season resort. We've got a ski area and tubing hill we run all winter long, and we'll run well into the spring. Once we got into the heart of the season, man, it just piled up. We've had over 350 inches this year, well above our average. First day of spring, and it's perfect weather to go out and get some sunny turns and enjoy a little bit of everything. It varies so much. That's the beauty of spring. You know, we'll have a day like today where it's just perfect sun, great groomers, a little bit of soft stuff off to the sides, and then we may have 3 or 4 huge powder days before the season's out. So
gotta love those goggle tan days when the sun is so bright, it's warm, you can ski in a t-shirt. We're just on top of Chair 2 and we had 360 views. We were pointing out lookout past Schweitzer Mountain. Today's been fantastic and sunny. Gotten so much snow. There have been multiple days this season where we've looked at each other and said, best day ever. Today's been blue sky and sunny with incredible visibility, and yeah, today's what it's about.
All right, now I want to go snowboarding. Before we go to break, though, here's a look at ABC's primetime lineup for tonight.
Live stream KXLY Plus on the 4 News Now app.
This season, fall into Coeur d'Alene. Fall is a great time to visit Coeur d'Alene. With awesome weather, fall color cruises, exciting events, a variety of food, beer, and wine selections, and amazing accommodations. It's the perfect time to stay and play in CDA. Visit cdafall.com for more information.
Many great careers don't need a 4-year degree. They start out here. Bob Ferguson has a detailed plan to expand apprenticeships and on-the-job training like I had to get more Washingtonians the skills they need to succeed. And Bob will eliminate 4-year degree requirements for most state jobs, opening doors to more good-paying careers. I would support Bob Ferguson, even if he wasn't my kid brother, but it helps he listens to old machinists like me.
Bob Ferguson for governor.
At Parker Subaru, we understand that every Subaru is unique.
That's why we offer a wide range of genuine Subaru accessories designed to enhance your driving experience and match your lifestyle. From rugged outdoor adventures to everyday convenience, we have what you need to personalize your Subaru.
Explore genuine Subaru accessories at parkersubaru.com or visit us at Parker Subaru in beautiful Coeur d'Alene.
Jared Sessler is Mr. 30%. Sessler wants a 30% national sales tax on everything. New house? Under Sessler's plan, you pay 30% more. New car? 30% more. Bacon, eggs, milk? 30%. Healthcare, gas, electric, cell phone bills? You pay 30% more. Jared Sessler, Mr. 30%. Is there anything he won't tax? National Interest Action is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Out here, we have an independent streak. We want the government to stay out of our business. That's what freedom is. A woman's private medical decisions should be between her and her doctor. Michael Baumgartner has a long record of opposing abortion in almost all cases, even when a woman is raped. He'd let states restrict access to birth control and fertility treatments. I'm Carmela Conroy. I approve this message because our freedoms are at stake.
4 News Now is brought to you by Monster Jam at the Spokane Arena November 8th through the 10th.
Well, folks, this reminder brought to you by the weather, is, those outdoor projects that you have. You need to wrap them up. It's late October. What are you doing?
Yeah, no doubt. All right, don't forget, the Friday Night Sports Extra is tonight at 11. We hope to see you then.
Live stream KXLY Plus on the